Welcome to the Education Podcast. Today we will talk about nutrition, about school nutrition gardens, about community-led school nutrition gardens, and we have with us Pius Ranee, the Executive Director of NESFAS, who has done tremendous work in this field. So welcome to the podcast. My first question is, many people may not be aware, what is NESFAS?
Thank you so much, sir, for inviting me to be part in this podcast. So, in simple terms, NESFAS is an organization that tries to promote and defend the local food systems. So, that is the very simple.
What does it stand for?
It's a Northeast Society for Agroecology Support.
Okay.
So, we take agroecology as the framework in whatever we do at the field. So therefore, like the work that we do is that, we connect a lot of work, with the cultural identity of the communities, and then where we also, place women at the center of the work that we do. So the cultural identity and the women plays a very important role, in the context that we do.
So what are the different works over the last so many years NESFAS has done, particularly in Meghalaya?
Okay, over the last 12 years now, we have done a lot of work. Firstly is that, what we do is that we do a lot of work with documentation of the local biodiversity. So that's like the first thing that we do, and then through this documentation, then we try then to connect with the different programs that we have. Then so we have, for example, like the biodiversity. In the biodiversity component, we have the seed banks initiative that we are doing, and then we also have a lot of work with how to address the issues faced by the farmers in terms of pest management, soil management, and then at the same time we also do a lot of work with the knowledge sharing then of the local biodiversity then. And the second component, then we link then biodiversity then to the nutrition program then, where we do a lot of work with the school garden, with the community-led initiative program that we have been doing for quite some times now. And then in the livelihood, then we are doing a lot of work then with the value addition of the neglected and underutilized species. At the same time, then we are doing a lot of work with the innovative idea of the local run cafes, which we call in the local language Mother Earth Cafe or Meram Cafe. So these are the sum of the innovative initiative that we are doing with the livelihood aspect then. And then for the innovation program, then we have been doing a lot of work. Then, as you know, sir, you have been very dynamic. Like the IS here, I can say that you have been traveling across Meghalaya. So there are a lot of villages, whereby road accessible is still a problem. So in those areas, we have been introducing like a vertical roadway by using only the law of gravity. So you don't need energy there. So we have done this in some of the communities there, basically to transport goods to address the issue of drudgery. So this is one thing that we have done in terms of the innovation then. And then in majority of the villages in Karo Hills, we have been doing a lot of work with solar electrification then. So far we have been able to electrify in Karo Hills particularly more than 400 households there, and then more than 10 PHCs also, the upgradation of the solar work that we do then.
Amazing work NESFAS has done. So congratulations for
Thank
that. You used the term agroecology. So what is the meaning and how is it relevant for our schools and nutrition of our children?
Thank you so much. So in agroecology, when we because it has become a political debate in the United Nations, and everyone is talking about should we use the word agroecology. So agroecology basically is the application of ecology into the practice. So when we look carefully into the kind of work that we do then, so I myself in the year 2017, I took this initiative trying to take this concept to the rural communities of Meghalaya. So I asked this question, do you understand what is agroecology? By explaining those concepts, because agroecology in simple terms is a science, a practice, and a movement. So then the community said, this is a very alien word to us, agroecology. So for them, agroecology is a traditional farming system. Which in Khasi we call Reptan Rai. So this is, like in simple terms, whenever we do about, the work that we do, we never use the word agroecology, but we use Reptan Rai as the, as the theme or the mantra for us then. So therefore, in the context of agroecology, then we have been doing a lot of work, because there are principles of agroecology now, which the world is looking at that then. So we are moving into that direction, and then hopefully that the work that we do has been, it has got the attention now at the global level. So recently we have done a study in 4 countries to assess the agroecology outcomes. And then through that study, it came out that in the communities that we have been working, the agroecology outcomes of the food systems is very, very high. So we need to just to tell to the world that you need to respect these farming systems that the communities are doing. Yeah.
So how is this agroecology relevant for our school nutrition garden?
Okay, for our nutrition garden, the school garden, agroecology is very much important. Because it talks about the local biodiversity there. That's first, like the first principle is diversity. When you talk about diversity, it's basically connect very well with the local biodiversity there. So therefore, whatever you promote in the school garden, you have to promote the diversity. It should not be like monocropping, because monocropping cannot resist at all the climate aspect. So therefore, in the school garden, diversity is very important there. So this is like what we terms agroecology. And then the second aspect that is the cultural identity then. So the one that I plan within the school garden should relate to my culture, should be like culturally appropriate to the students, to the community that are there within the community. And then the third, which is very important, like the governance aspect of that particular area then. For example, like when you do a school garden, you have to understand that what are the cultural aspect within that particular community, that where the community can come together and then contribute to the school garden initiative then. So therefore agroecology is very, very important to apply within the school garden.
Great. I was reading about your bio. So you have traveled to many countries from the side of NESFAS, I think.
Yeah.
So what are the experiences you have gained from all these field visits and conferences, and how is it relevant to our schools?
Thank you so much for that question. Yes, I have been traveling quite a lot to different countries. So the lesson that I learned, which I can tell to the listeners here, to the school, particularly to the school teachers, to the students who are listening to this podcast, is you need to respect your own identity, your own culture there. So when I interacted with a number of bright students from Cambridge University, if I interacted with scientists from FAO, because FAO there, they come a lot of scientists there, I cannot understand the subject, but I understand well my own subject. So therefore, I can proudly say that I should defend more of what I know. So therefore, traveling across this country, interacting with people, is that you should know your root very, very well. So that's how stands out prominently in the discussion then. So this is one lesson that I learned. And then the second lesson that I learned, especially when I travel to places like Sweden, and then I travel to Germany, and then when I travel to particularly to northern Thailand, and then Kenya as well. So one thing which I learned is that from there are some sort of similar initiative that the people are doing there. And then when I explained to them about the school meal initiative, they are also doing, but they are not being able to connect well. So I just got a call from them that people from Kenya, people from Mexico, and then people even from Thailand, they would like to see this initiative that that we are doing together. Yeah.
Very good. Yeah. Very good. So did you see any schools abroad which are also doing this kind of nutrition garden thing?
Yes, but just to tell you that the kind of cultivation that they are doing there, it's I think we can do much more, because they are doing like in terms of like very monocropping kind of thing then. Okay. But you look into the school here, we are doing diverse crop. So this is the beauty that the world is talking about. So and then the second thing that there's some students from UK, when they came here, when we had last year the school meal festival, they said, oh, this is the best school I ever had, So this gave us, the opportunity that we can really work more than on the school meal that we have at the moment. Yes.
Great. Yeah. So in Meghalaya, last year we had very less number of school nutrition gardens. We had only around 1,000, I think. So overall 9 to 10%. Then we celebrated something called School Nutrition Garden Day. And on that day, more than 5,000 schools started nutrition garden. So today we have roughly 8,000 plus schools having school nutrition garden. So what are your thoughts on school nutrition garden, the impact they can make, and how we can saturate all schools of Meghalaya?
I think first of all, I would like to congratulate your department, sir, because under your leadership, now I can see this movement has already started coming out quite strongly then. So so what I feel is that one thing that I can tell to all the school here who have the school garden is, number one is that please and talk to the local knowledge there. the knowledge holders, from a particular committee there, and then invite them, to your conversation there. Let them, also engage, in the school garden then. Because why? Because the diversity, the seeds you need from them. So therefore, engage them on a regular basis. That's number one. And then number two, then what you can do also, when you are promoting the school garden, then you can engage then, the students there then, so that they can learn it. Because when you ask the student to learn about the local biodiversity there, touching the soil, you are helping the student to connecting with nature. This is what we are looking at. We are lacking at the moment. We are not. We are fight. We have a war with nature. We need to connect with nature now. So I think the school garden, it should not end there. It should help the student to connect with nature. And so this is a beautiful thing. And then I would say that, let us, spread more, this school garden, because school garden is the place, it's not just for learning, but it's a place, for, everyone, to engage there as a community participation, So the third message that I have here is that, if you can also engage, like parents there, within the school garden, because parents, they know what seeds to plant, how to plow, how to plow the soil, what kind of seasonal, domestication of wild edibles can be brought within the kitchen garden. So I think, if you can involve, these 4 key players, then, your school garden will become a success. Then it has to be a committee-led. Otherwise, the school alone, the teachers, they have a lot of responsibility. But if you involve the committee there, making the sense of responsibility towards the future, because we need now to connect the students now, to nature. Yeah.
So you talked about community-led school nutrition gardens. So we recently went along with you to Sora, and we seen a lot of such schools doing that. So I want you to explain that in detail, a little bit detail, and so that all other schools can learn from the community-led nutrition.
Thank you. So initially, sir, when we started this program, because we started, with the kitchen garden, very simple concept, just for the student to enjoy, it's a learning space for them. And then we took some of the teachers also, for an exposure visit to, Assam. They learned something from Assam there, and then so that's how we started off. Then what we do, then we realized that okay, there is an opportunity now, now for the school garden, to go to the next level then. To do what? To connect with the existing school meal program then. Because there are a lot of seasonal plants there, right? And then now we realize that in the context of Meghalaya, when malnutrition is very, very high, so we see that there is an opportunity there even to connect the school meal program then to nutrition then. So that's how we started off with this committee-led school meal initiative program then. So in that program, what we do is that we kind of do the analysis first, where it's a very small assessment, to understand are there, the malnutrition really exists, within the students. So we did a small study there. So we found that there are still, students who are under the category of severe acute malnutrition. So this has, become a quite serious, concern, for the parents, for us then. So what we did then, we showed this information to the committee then, in a very simple terms then. We told them, see, your children are facing, the acute malnutrition. So let's do about this then. So how can we do something, with the school garden then, with the, with the school meal program then. So that's how the concept of school meal program came into picture then. So now I'm very happy that to see in this school that we have done the project is that now parents have come together, to contribute something, to the school. For example, like the parents, they engage within the school garden program there. They engage, in giving firewood to the school. They engage, now to give wild edibles to the school. And then the cooks, when we give the training as per the FAO guidelines, the 5 food groups concept, which we have trained to all the cooks across Meghalaya now. So they have been able, to use and then bring their own wild edibles from their own yards to the school. It's basically a self, contribution by the cooks themselves. And then the third, then, like the Dorwashnong, which we call the village council here. So what they do is that, there are some schools who are saying, okay, we have a problem with water, we have a problem with firewood. And then fortunately now, this Dorwashnong, they said, okay, now from the Dorwashnong or the village council, we will contribute to firewood to the school. So which is one of the huge costs, in the school, right? So this is very, very interesting then. And then the next day, the school said, okay, this is very important. So how do we do then? So some of the school, just to tell you here that they have been able, to do the fund mobilization by themselves, sir. Of course, the fund that they are getting from the government is not enough, but with the funds that they raise, they are being able to match that then. So I think, in the next 1 year or so, this school, whether like the government, are contributing more to that, it will really help them then to sustain that initiative then. So this has become quite significant then from that point of view then. And then, okay, we said, okay, wait, let's go back to the committee then to see what are the impacts that we can see there then. What are the impacts? What are the outcomes that we can see? The first thing that we noticed there is increase in terms of, the dietary diversity. This is one of the indicator which has been used globally called DDS, Dietary Diversity Score. So normally, if you want to, when you want to have, when in order for you to become a good, healthy person or a balanced diet, then you have to eat at least minimum 5 food groups. So we can see in all the school they meet that standards then. So this is one impact that you can see. And then number two, then impact that you can see here is that like a lot of neglected and underutilized species have been brought to the school then, which is like a kind of a knowledge transfer that, to the children then, because now they know that, okay, this is the plant that I need to respect, that I need to nurture, because, which have been neglected for so long, so now I can do that then. So there is increased awareness, within the schools there then, within the community then, not within the school, but within the communities then. And the third outcome that I can see, sir, here is that, from the health point of view, we can notice that, because, why, for example, the iron deficiency is very, very high here. So through this program, then we can see there has been an increase, intake of iron content within the school meal program then. So we see that, the regular attendance of the student coming to the school is one indicator that we can say, okay, they are healthy. So there are some good news that, where, like parents, they told us that, okay, this is a very important program, because why? Because it has also helped the poor family. Because sometimes poor family, many times poor family, they don't get, like the right nutritious food at home, right? But they just want to send the children to school then. I think this is very beautiful, like the outcomes that, we can see within the community.
And this all has happened in just 1 year?
Yeah, 1 year, yes.
Okay.
Yeah, 1 year.
So imagine, if we continue doing this for a couple of years, so then, there'll be even greater benefits.
Sure.
So that's so wonderful, and I hope everyone listening, will take motivation, and all the schools, nutrition garden basically, which are there in Meghalaya, will convert to community-led. So we look forward to that. NESFAS has also developed a lot of booklets and IEC materials on, what can be the meals and all that. Why don't you share about that? Those?
So recently, in collaboration with your department, sir, we train, the cooks across Meghalaya, more than 5,000 cooks. So we train on this concept of, the 10 food group concept. So we produce a lot of IC materials. So so if you have any problems with understanding those concepts, you can reach out, to us, which we can explain that to you. Our office is here in very close to your to the directorate only. It's here in Limekra behind Nazareth Hospital. You can reach out to us. So, but these IEC materials are basically for us to change the mindset of the local communities to start appreciating their own local biodiversity. So that's the first thing, why we produce these IC materials. And then the second thing that, to make understand that, with the local biodiversity that we have, how can we make use of that then? So therefore, the recent training that we did with the department is that, we train the cook how to use the local resources that are there within the community within that framework of the 10 food group concept as per the FAO guidelines. And so this is, what we have done. And then one of the learnings that through this training that we learn, through your, collaboration with you, we noticed that, when we did this cooking competition, many schools, sometimes, when you teach a theory, if they don't practice, it doesn't make sense, right? So for us, that this cooking, this training, it has become a theory for them. So cooking competition, the one that we did, right, it is basically like a practical then. So we judge as per, that those guidelines. And so surprisingly, I visited, to some of this cooking competition. I saw that, they practice it very well. There are some schools, spring school, which here in Shillong, they, the cooks, they came out, with a very innovative recipe to cover within one meal the 5 food groups. So this is minimal cost. This is fantastic. I see that, I can say that, the cooks have really learned about that. Then. So one of the requests by the cooks, they said that why don't you engage the teachers for this training as well? Why? Because the teachers also, they play an important role for decision making then. So I thought that maybe with your collaboration we can even train like the teachers so that they understand what is this 10 food 10 food group concept, so that they can also work together with the cooks, that to make this a program a very success and within the state.
That is a very good idea, and I think in the next year we will engage teachers as well. So as you said, you have trained more than 5,000 cook cum helpers.
Yes.
So now your team must have interacted with them, and what do you think? I mean, how more we can improve in terms of their knowledge on nutrition and hygiene? Of course, we have given them one round of training, but is that enough, or we need to do something more?
So we have been getting a lot of feedbacks from the communities, and then from these master trainers, we have at the moment 50 of them, which they go across the different like clusters, blocks level. So one of the feedbacks that we get from this training is that how do we improve like the content then, right? So we said that in order for the cooks, this is the request from the cooks only. They said that imagine if we would have spent with you for at least 2 days, we would have like capture all the knowledge that we are talking about, because we are making very simple documentation. So they said that maybe if you 1 day theory and then 1 day practical, so that I think 2 days would be more than enough, so to really streamline this process, and I hope next year we with your collaboration we can do that then, because the cook are sir, the cooks are the pillars of this program.
Right.
If you train them properly, they will innovate in a very effective way then. For example, one of the cooks from our program, project communities, what they do is that they came out with a very innovative recipe. They give ragi millet. In Khasi we call krai. So they give like shak krai. It's a tea rice. In the morning to the student, to give that energy. Because when they enter inside the classroom, they need to give that energy. So they, as a token of appreciation to the students, the teachers, they give like raki like with along raki rice, something like that. Raki tea. So this is quite interesting. With the innovative idea that the cooks have done then in the school.
Great. So another thing is, now these days you must be observing the youth. They are into a lot of fast food, junk food and all that. So the lack of awareness on eating right, eating local and eating seasonal, this is a challenge. So how can we achieve that?
Yes, I think the recent collaboration with your department, sir, is a stepping stone, I would say. Because like if we can tap the school children now, because they are the future, we can tap them right from now to make them understand, create this awareness, eating seasonal, eating right food. I think that will create a lot of mindset change in the next few years. And we are talking like the next generation to come then. So I think if we are tapping the school at the moment, the one that we are doing this program, I think it will slowly change that then. Because eating junk food, as you can see in other Western countries, the obesity rate is very, very high. When we took one of the famous New York writers, his name is Mark Bittman. He came to Shillong, and then he visited the school meal program. He said that in my country, US, there are a lot of obesity people, obesity child. This has become like concern for them. And then when he traveled to those villages there where the school meal has been served, he said, "Oh, there's no obesity. These are healthy students." So he said, I think so. What I would say is, we still have like time to work together, to mobilize the young people, young minds, to eat healthy food, eat seasonal food. I think this is the campaign that we can work together. Yeah.
Great. So now urban schools, the school which are in urban area like Shillong, they don't have space for a school nutrition garden. They don't have soil basically to plant. So we are trying with vertical gardening or somewhere hydroponics also. So what are your thoughts? How we can address this in urban schools?
Yeah. So this is the issue that came out strongly from the urban schools. What I did then through this collaboration with some of the like NGOs that we work with, I have a very close friend of mine. His name is he's the parish priest in Cathedral. His name is Father Bernard Lalu. I posed him this challenge. I asked him, "You are the parish priest of this like the cathedral here, the Catholic here." So I told him, "Why don't you do something about this then?" Because prior to that, he has been engaging with us. We changed a lot of mindset. Like the growing seasonal. And then if you go to his terrace now, I'm talking about terrace, full of vegetables. So I think there are a lot of innovative ways that we can do.
In
so,
pots.
Yeah,
Okay.
they use where they used to keep the fish, that box, and then just keep like the good soil there, compost, and then put the plant there. And then he told me that whenever he needs food, seasonal food, he just get it there. So so I think this is the I think I would like to encourage like the students, I mean the teachers, the school from the urban, if they can reach out to us, we can give them a lot of ideas there. Not only the vertical garden, it's basically there are a lot of innovative ideas that that we can work together and to bring this aspect then. Yeah.
Okay, great. So you have made a career in agroecology in a way, right? And so many youth today, unfortunately, we are seeing they are going away from agriculture and allied. Nobody is interested to take up those, but there are so many opportunities. So what would you say to all those youth who have this interest in agriculture, nutrition, horticulture? How can they make a career in this field?
I see that this is the current future that we have at the moment, taking into the crisis that we have in terms of employment. So majority of the youth that I have been engaging with, so we have been giving a lot of opportunities then, for example, like over the last few years, we have trained more than 100 youths, to understand this entrepreneurship aspect of it, by using the local biodiversity. So now this youth, then they have come out, with so much innovative ideas. Then what they do is that, like some of them, they run the cafes, some of them they run the processing unit, some of them, like they even run, the ecotourism, So these are, the opportunities that we can see. And then most importantly here is that, sir, I just give, a warning, to all of us, because, like if we don't cultivate, what will happen to the food then? I feel like, in the next 10 years, getting local food will become a problem, will become a challenge. So I think, so therefore, whenever, I go out, whenever I talk, to a lot of young people, then make, agriculture as a career for you then. Don't just be like Babu sitting in the office, like touch the soil. Understand that then. So this is, like one lesson that I learned also, because personally for me, I stay here in Shillong. I am from a village, but I want to get connected to the root. So then I shifted to the village then, starting touching the soil. Now I engage my own children also to touch the soil. We have a small kitchen garden, so helping like going with grandmothers, learning about the local biodiversity. At least now they know what to name the local wild edible plants also. I think by doing that, then you are helping the young generation to connect with nature then. So there are a lot of opportunities now for young people in this area, sir. A lot of opportunities here. For example, like we have chefs now who are coming back from the conventional thing. They want to promote local food now, and then they have been observed quite in a very big hotels with a lot of with a huge amount of salary. And so this is like the future I can see within the food systems that we are talking about then.
Very good. So lastly, I want you to give a message to all the schools, principals, teachers and students about nutrition, about school nutrition gardens, and how community should also join them in this efforts.
So my message to all the teachers here and the students, particularly the teachers here, is that you are not working alone. We are working together. So if you need our support, let us work together. And then why this is important? Because this is the starting point where we are helping our young minds to connect with nature. So this is the message that I have. So the moment when we are helping to connect with nature, then as you understand that the peace, the well-being within the communities, with the landscape will be there. Then. So let's work together. This is my message. I think the work that the department has done in terms of the nutrition garden. So let's work together and then let's promote this in a very rapid way, because we don't have time. Climate change is basically like coming to us now. So let's do now, because it's very important for us, for the well-being of the planet. So this is the message that I want to give to all of them.
Thank you. That was very enlightening, and I'm sure many people will get inspired from your talk. So everyone listening to this, Meghalaya now has 78% coverage in terms of school nutrition gardens. We want to make it 100%, and we want all these nutrition gardens to be community-led. The work which they have done in Sora, we want that to be replicated all across Meghalaya. So I hope to see that in the coming times. Thank you so much for watching. Kumle Shibun, Mithila.